So taking a family vacation is always crazy. You never know what's gonna happen. Someone's gonna forget something. Someone's gonna get sick. Plans are not gonna go well. That was what this meant for my family and I. So it was my mom, my sister, my wife, and I going out of the country for the first time. And then also, I didn't know, but I would be driving a long distance in the snow in a foreign country for the first time. Yes, it's Canada, but it was a big deal because it was our first time. Like, oh, we're like paying for this and we're doing our own thing. Like, growing up, immigrant family, you know, you don't always get to like leave the country. Like, most of your family vacations are just like road trip to visit someone on the other side of your state. So we were flying from Seattle straight to Victoria. To, I think it's a Sydney airport. And then we're gonna be hanging out around that area the whole time. So, and then I also had my Minolta Alpha 700. I'll show you, if it'll focus. This is my old reliable film camera. I was shooting Kodak Gold 200. It was my first time also taking something like this through TSA, and that's a whole thing of I requested for them to special check it, all this blah blah. Anyway, so yeah, that's how it began. So we get there, we check in, it's great, it's fine. We start driving, and then we see kind of snow starts falling. We're like, oh, maybe, yeah, it's winter. Here's what it is. It's the vibes. Maybe it's gonna go away. Turns out it was gonna be one of their largest snows that they've had in a while. We had no idea. So anyway, I'm out here taking portraits, this one and this one. It's great. These are actually some of my favorite portraits. I'm there, you know, goofball, all that type of stuff. Everything's going great. We're like, ha. Yeah, we're having fun. Great. Day 2. Now we're like, all right. I was like, I really want to go visit Nanaimo, this city up here. I like, you know, small towns and all that. Let's get the vibe and all that. And my family's like, cool, let's go. So again, the car, I'm driving. I actually didn't know Nanaimo was actually pretty far away from Victoria. So that was already going to be an adventure. And then also my mom was now starting to show some symptoms that she had a kind of cold.
Maybe even COVID. We had no idea. Maybe she had the big C.
We're traveling. It's great. Having fun. You see here with this big sign, you know, the big iconic sign. All you locals who know this spot. It was really cool. But mom's kind of getting a little bit more sicker. We're like, hey, we're good. And now the snow's really coming down. And we're like, oh, this is fun. It might stop by the time we leave. My wife is playing on the playground. So is my sister. Like, we're having a great time. But I'm now starting to get worried. Like, this snow is really, really coming down. I don't know. It's like really getting blanketed. We end up going downtown. We're just like hanging out. But the snow is really coming down. We're like, hey, we got to start driving back home. Our car is a 4-wheel drive. So it's whatever. We start driving back through the snow. We're all scared. We're like, dude, it's also, this is like all the locals who know this type of road. There's like small towns around it, but it's like a straight shot right through the mountains, and then it comes out on the other side. I'm like like snow is coming down heavy. I'm by my, like no other cars on the road, by myself. That's when it's scary. That's when it's scary when you're driving. All you road drivers know, if there's a line of other cars with you in like a scary area, it's not that bad. But when you're traveling by yourself and there's no other cars around, it's a little scary. That was exactly what's happening. I would see a car come and I'm like, oh.
Thank you. I have somebody else to be in this pain with me.
Oh no, they're at the next exit. They leave. They're going home. I'm still driving through this snow, and the car's now like starting to fidget, starting to do the snow. Like it's a little slippery, and I'm like, I just want to get through this. I really just want to get through this. So we ended up getting through this. Obviously, I'm alive. We make it to the hotel. It's not great. Mom's really sick now. So we're like, okay, we're flying out tomorrow. Let's just make it through. Mom will just max the whole time. Let's get on. Let's just go back home at this point. Like we're very, very tired. Now, our tickets were on call, which means if there's extra seats, we get on. If there's no extra seats, you're kind of stuck. So we're like, let's just hope there is some seats available. We check in at the airport, everything is moving great. But the flight attendants tell us,
oh, there's only one seat open.
So my sister takes it. So now I have to book another night in snowy Victoria, and now I have to buy a ticket for the Clipper. At this point, we lived in Seattle. We don't live in Seattle anymore, but we did. We had to get on a boat now and had one more night. That was actually a blessing in disguise. We took lots of great photos. I really love them all. Again, none of these photos are corrected in Photoshop or anything like that. Maybe like to clean off the film, because I also develop all the film myself. So the magic eraser is the only thing I've touched up on these, but I haven't. Lots of the ducks around. It was really cool. This was actually like a really cool building I saw. The structure was very nice. Our tickets was to go later in the day, so we had the whole day in Victoria. So we visited, I know there's like that big park in the middle of the city that we're at. Took lots of great photos. I had lots of fun. My mom was loving it. I love the architecture there. Y'all have a great central building. Look at this one. I like this one a lot. I just like the colors, the copper, the greenish color. Very, very nice, very beautiful. But again, it was an unknowingly blessing in disguise that we had to stay one more night, because I got these great shots. I got to spend time with them. It was really cool. There's a whole other part of the story. I'll go really quick. At this point, all of Seattle was under ice, so we made it back home. But when we got off the boat and now to take an Uber to go home, it was like freezing. The Uber driver was weird for some reason.
He was like, oh, I could like take you guys on if you pay me cash on the side, not using the app. And I was like, I don't know about this.
So I had my mom get on because she lived in a different part of Seattle. So she went home. My wife and I are like the only ones there. There's a woman there visiting from Quebec. She's like, hey, my son said he lives in Seattle. This is the address. I look at it. It's Burien. I'm like, bro, not even close. It's so far away. She's like, oh, can you help me with that? I'm like, do you have a phone? Oh, my phone died. Great. So now I have to try to find a taxi for this lady. I finally put her on. I tell the cab driver this is the address. She had it in a notebook. That's how older this woman was. She had it in a notebook. And it was just like, my son lives in Seattle. You got to help me out. So we're like, okay, this is the best that we can do. So she ended up going back. And then my wife and I were there alone. And like the dock had closed. The employees were gone. We're like the only ones there waiting for an Uber. Our phone's dying. My phone ends up dying. My wife's phone is also like 1%. Very last second we get an Uber.
The driver's like, hey, I was just right about to go home before I took your
request. So we ended up making it home. But anyway, it was just, again, and my mom ended up having COVID. She was sick for like 2 weeks after that. So yeah, that's vacations, I guess. Can sometimes when they go wrong, they truly go wrong, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Anyway, go outside, call your mom. See you next time.